Yeah, I think, I mentioned it earlier in a couple of interviews. It's when you have a terrible year, I don't think you should bury your head in the sand and kind of pretend it wasn't there. It's there, and it's got to be. You got to evaluate yourself, your staff, your program, everything that you're doing, so you doesn't go through it again. And we've done that. I've had bad years before, but last year there was a lot of reasons why. I think you got to address every reason why and make sure it doesn't happen again. And I think our staff's done a good job of that. Our players have done a phenomenal job of that so far. And as I said, there's 50 new guys on the roster that weren't part of that season. So it's kind of a reboot. It sounds kind of strange to be in what is my 6th year, but that's kind of what it was and is. And there's going to be a lot of fun in August sorting it out.
What's one finding of what you can fix?
Well, we certainly, everybody can look at injuries, but it happens. It's a couple positions so quickly that it kind of devastated us at the time. We didn't think we could afford to. That's why we have 7. Why do you have 7 quarterbacks on the roster? People have. I got to have 3 that can play. My odds are better with 7 than they are with 4. And we won't go. I'm gonna make sure I have enough quarterbacks that we can win with. I'm gonna make sure we have enough running backs that we can win with. And then you still got to hope you're a little bit lucky. And then defensively, last year was the first year in the new system. But this year, there's no excuse for that. This is the 2nd year in the system, and I think the staff feels more comfortable with the players we got. But there are going to be a bunch of those 50 guys that wind up playing this year, whether it's because we need depth or just because they're better than what we were playing with. But that's going to be a fun part of August.
You talk a little bit about how comfortable you are with the quarterback situation that you currently have.
Yeah, I'm comfortable from the standpoint of Brandon Dawkins is a talented guy that's, I think, still getting better. I think Brandon's learning how to be a quarterback from learning leadership and all that, but he's a good football player, and he can be a really good football player. But the best way to expedite his process is to have competition. And whether it comes from Khalil Tate, who had no business playing last year as a 17-year-old freshman, but we had to play him, it's all we had. Or it's from a couple of guys that we signed, or from a guy that's a former pro baseball player that's bringing some maturity room. I mean, there's that dynamic in that quarterback room has changed, and it's changed for the better.
What's going to be the biggest surprise this year for Arizona fans? In a good way.
Well, it starts with hopefully winning better and playing better. I think the biggest difference is I think they'll see a little more athleticism defensively. We need to get more athletic defensively on all 3 levels. And then just better football. I think, as a coach, you can sit back and say, well, we had injuries or we had this happen, but, it is what it is, and we better have a chip on our shoulder. It doesn't happen again. I never thought that the attitude was poor, but it needed to be a little bit more competitive. Losing needed to hurt a little bit more, and just judging on the way the guys have worked out the last 6 or 7 months, and judging by what I think is going to happen in the next 3 or 4 weeks, the attitude will be right where we want it.
How tough is the Pac-12, especially?
Oh, the Pac-12 is really good. I think it's better than it's ever been. I've been in the league now 5-6 years. I don't think it's going to go backwards. The commitment to football has never been higher throughout the league than it's been right now, whether it's through TV revenue or what have you. But the league's in a great spot. And for us to have success at Arizona, we've got to be willing to spend some money and do a great job as coaches of recruiting, doing a great job as players. And one of the things we talked about, in order for us to win at Arizona, everybody associated with the program's got to love football. You can't just like it and be good. You got to love it and need it. And it starts within the program, the players and the staff. And obviously the staff, we all love it, but I think we've got more players now that truly love football and love and embrace the things you got to do to be good at. And that includes all the stuff you got to do in the off season.
Is that harder to do because of the success of the basketball program?
No, I think it's easier. I mean, people will talk about, well, you're at a basketball school. Well, at least we're known for something. But the truth is, we're pretty damn good in softball, too. We're pretty good in baseball. We're pretty good in Olympic sports. And basketball has been phenomenal. I think we can look around and say, listen, you can get it done. Now, it took a little while, I guess, to build the basketball culture. And then when Sean got there, he raised it to another level, Sean Miller. And so I think that's a great example of what we can do in football. Basketball is really, really important to a whole lot of people in Arizona. Football needs to be the same thing, the same way, and how we approach it from administrative standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, certainly, and from a player standpoint. And the good news is we have an example across campus in a lot of sports that we can point to help us lead that way.